the emphasis is on cost and efficiency, as well as now thinking about scenario planning in terms of duplicating supply or supply chain. So again, if you look at things like tariffs on goods, it might be romantic to consider that all of a sudden we can make things in country. And you go all the way back to David Ricardo and thinking about his discussion of cloth and wine and trade between Portugal and England. But now, the intricacy of the products which we use on a daily basis, the computer, the iPhone, the solar panel, etc., just means that you are relying upon inputs from dozens of different jurisdictions. And part of the reason for that is expertise. That also goes all the way back to Adam Smith and the division of labor, that some people are better at producing one thing than another. And he gave the great example of a pin manufacturer, and that even a simple pin is very seemingly worthless, but that there is a division of labor of the people that work on that specific pen to get it to a finally manufactured product. And so there is this concept of the division of labor, again, cost inputs. And I think one of the troublesome developments that we've seen throughout the trade war and the propensity to slap tariffs on goods is that you do see a corollary rise in the cost of the domestic end product, which you're seeking to amplify and to support that industry. And so we've seen that with things like steel. We've seen that with things like the solar industry. So that's also critical. So I would just say that, by and large, what we would say is the winners of globalization have been multiple and manifold, given that you do have just, dozens and hundreds of different countries and cities and provinces contributing to final products. The argument of populism is that, the argument that hits home with a lot of people is that the clear losers of globalization have been those that have been left out of part of that domestic industry. And so this concept of or onshoring some of that domestic activity is, again, slightly simplistic, because that's not necessarily the way in which our economies are growing. As well, you potentially slap what is called, effectively a tax on the consumer. If you raise the cost of goods and the inputs that go into those goods, that's the difference of an American consumer paying $15 for a t-shirt or $35 for a t-shirt.